In the fast-moving world of e-commerce, the biggest threat to a company is rarely a competitor or a sudden market crash. Usually, the force that destroys a thriving business is its own past success. When an advertising campaign hits its targets or a new product becomes a bestseller, it builds massive internal confidence. You found a winning formula, and for a while, it works perfectly. But over time, that well-earned confidence can quietly turn into operational complacency. Because the system worked yesterday, there is less pressure to question if it needs to change tomorrow. This chart compares two trajectories. The flat line represents a stagnant business strategy, while the rising curve tracks the rapid evolution of technology and customer expectations. The expanding space between them shows a business losing its market grip, the exact moment processes disconnect from reality. When a company remains stubbornly committed to a formula that worked in the past, it isn't protecting its legacy. It is actively making itself obsolete. This bell curve illustrates the natural life cycle of every business strategy. No matter how profitable a tactic is, it will eventually move from its inception, through its peak, and toward an inevitable decline. The danger for most operators is that they only look at historical results. They focus on the fact that a strategy worked last year, effectively trapping their mindset at the peak of the curve, even as the results begin to slip. High-performing entrepreneurs ignore historical momentum. They look at fresh data and ask one specific question: does this process still produce results today? Treating an outdated method with too much loyalty acts as a blindfold. It prevents a company from noticing the subtle, vital shifts in how customers are actually behaving right now. True loyalty must be reserved for the customer's current needs, rather than the old methods used to reach them. Staying adaptable doesn't mean you have to burn down your proven systems or start from scratch every month. Instead, it requires the judgment to know exactly when a process needs to be refined, when it needs to be replaced, and when it's time to try something entirely new. This diagram shows the core business as a central hub. By launching dozens of small experiments, vector lines shooting outward, you generate fresh insights without risking primary revenue. These data points feed back, allowing you to safely adjust trajectory, keeping parallel with changing markets. This constant forward pressure is what separates a growing company from competitors who remain frozen, paralyzed by assumptions that are no longer true. When experimentation is part of a team's deemed routine, change stops being a sign of failure. It becomes the primary engine for healthy growth. Long-term survival is only possible for businesses that are willing to proactively reinvent themselves. The key is timing. You have to be willing to change parts of your business before the market forces you to do so. To maintain this momentum, high-performing operators set aside time every 3 months to perform a critical assessment of their internal processes. During this review, look for one specific practice, much like the seized golden gear, that has remained completely unchanged for more than a year. You have to honestly evaluate whether that stagnant practice still earns its place in your current strategy, or if you are simply keeping it because it's comfortable. Real progress requires the discipline to move beyond existing strengths. Often, the next breakthrough begins when you intentionally dismantle yesterday's greatest success.